Alright. Waited long enough. I should actually start animating the lesson I'm going to give. The time has come. Also, I should probably remove all this printing. From this tool, because I don't actually need that. Long material. I had printing with that. And that's not how you comment. There we go. Run that. That's not what I meant to do. Perfect. Now when I run this visualization, come back over here. Great. Okay. We're not working on this visualization right now. Right now I need to get some work done animating the lesson. Tutorial MD, let's check this out. 6419. All right. The pipeline, attributes, uniforms, homogeneous coordinates. Okay. So now I'm gonna have to actually use some creativity for once in my life and think of a good way to visualize the OpenGL pipeline. I don't think this will be too terribly difficult. Just in case, I'm gonna make sure. I'm gonna bring out some links to make sure I don't get anything wrong. What is vertex specification? Right, the vertex shader, tessellation, geometry shader I won't go over. Vertex post-processing I won't go over. Primitive assembly rasterization. Okay, okay. I'll pretty much go over the ones from... This one has vertex specification too. List an ordered list of vertices. That defines the boundaries of the primitive. Along with this, one can define other vertex attributes like color, texture coordinates, etc. Later, this data is sent down and manipulated by pipeline. Okay, so I understand that. Basically, what I want to go over is the stuff from the Python OpenGL book. This one. If I go to the pipeline as this thing describes it here. Fragment shader, blending, and that goes into frame buffer. I think this will be a good candidate to go over. Okay. So, first triangle, if I just run first triangle. Don't get much, just a triangle here. And that's actually perfect. They're all golden, what's going on? So that's perfect. Now along with this, what should I call this? Or pipeline. Lec? I'll call it OpenGL pipeline. I have a much louder keyboard now because I did some like switching around USBs and stuff keyboard now because I did some like switching around USBs and stuff. The keyboard I was using before drew too much power to use with my Switch, and so I got annoyed with it. But I'm hoping this one isn't too loud. I should be getting a quieter one soon. Okay. So I'm gonna run this, the OpenGL pipeline. And if I'm lucky, this should exemplify a much faster workflow of developing with Manim than before, since I can use interactive embed and the live updating. Hopefully. So let me get a point here. I just add that. And nothing's here, so that's great. Okay, I wonder if the colors are correct. Let me stroke color to white. Try this. Same thing. I wonder if I can add anything, or if I'm doing something wrong here. Okay, so that works. So maybe the point doesn't have its opacity. So eat this. Nope. Maybe this. Is OpenGL point even a thing? I guess it didn't crash. I forgot to do all of my searches. Oh, guess that didn't work. Is an OpenGL point. Oh, I guess it doesn't have any points. Okay, I think maybe what I want is OpenGL dot. Okay, that appears. Okay, so that's great. Let me get a few of these. So I'm gonna get an OpenGL V group. Yeah. Points. I'll just call this points. Vertices. I have a few OpenGL dots. Just do move to. I wish there was an easier way to specify points. Like doing. I guess I'll do -1 times right plus 2 times up, something like this. I'm gonna add vertices here. See if I did that correctly. Okay, cool. Get a few more of these dots. Then let me do, we'll do -2 right, -1 up, and then 1, 1. Maybe move this down a little. Maybe that can just be 0. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, take out this circle. So I've got this. It'd be nice to label these. For now, let me just get a label here. Hope this works. To add vertices, you do this. So to add vertices, you do this. This is going to be next to the vertices. Up. Add those two. Okay, good. And actually, I'm going to move all of these down by like 1. Just so that... maybe not that much. This one, maybe this... Actually... So it's here. Maybe we should just shift this whole thing down. Yeah, I'm just going to do... this. I'm going to add that shift down. Half times down? Okay, sure, I like it. So I've got this. Now I want to have these go through the shader. So the shader is going to transform these into normalized device coordinates. So how can I represent that in one case they're in world coordinates, and the next case they're in normalized device coordinates? Maybe I could just draw a box around these and then label the limits of the box. I think that would work fine. Let me get a buff in here. Okay, so I have the vertices. Go to the vertex shader. For now, I think I'm not going to worry about the vertex shader. How to visualize that. For now, I'm just going to move the vertices label and switch to the next label. So how would I animate that? There's got to be another label. Saying the vertex shader. I'll just move to the same place that the vertices label is. Okay, and then what I'm going to want to animate is going to be the vertices sliding off to the left and the vertex shader, or I was going to have the vertices slide off to the left and vertex shader come in. Maybe I can just fade out and shift the vertices up. Let me try self.play. Fade out and shift up to the vertices label up. Okay. I want to do that after adding them. Okay. So maybe I want to fade in. I don't know if it's called fade in and shift, fade in from. Okay, so I can do this. And what I'd like to do, what would be really nice, is if I could pause this until I hit a button. And I can, right? If I put interactive embed here, and now I think I queue. Did it work? try this again. Okay, so this shows me the vertices. And I Q. Okay, so this shows me the vertices. And I Q. And I think it worked. I sort of want the GUI not to disappear, but it doesn't make sense for it to, it doesn't really make sense for it to be there if it's not paused at an embed. But I think that's fine. Okay, so I want to fade out and shift this up, and right after that, I'm going to fade in from the next label. Is that what the succession does? And if I remember right, the compose animations are really janky. I think there's a good chance this doesn't work, but let's see. You try to fade out and shift the vertices label, fade in from the vertex shader label. I'll see how this goes. I might have broke my rewriting. Okay. FAQ. That didn't seem like a succession. Oh, I didn't have succession here. Also, did this... If I save now, it doesn't rerun. That's a bug. Or if I hit rerun here. Yeah, that's a bug, unfortunately. Doing either of these... Well, doing Q, I guess, should continue it. Rerun should rerun it. There should be a continue button here. Anyway, I'll try to focus some on the actual animation for a bit here. Let's try to run that again. So we get the vertices. Alright, that did not work at all. And I don't know why. Oh, it's because I fade in from... No, I don't know why that didn't work. Oh, succession's out. Sort of suspected that'd be buggy. But I was hoping for the best. Okay. Let's try this instead. Alright, so I have this. Okay, and that's what I wanted to do. To fade one of them out, fade the next one in. Now the vertex shader is going to change just the dimensions. So there isn't much to show there. But then next I want to show the... It might be useful to show the source code somewhere on the screen here. Yeah, that could be useful. Right now, I'm going to just get all the labels cycled through. So I go to the primitives generation. And actually, I'm gonna move this down a bit, just to try to keep this a little bit more organized. Add the vertices and the vertices label. Yeah, so I'm gonna do this like this. Well, the next one's gonna look a lot like this. Move to vertex shader label. Okay, it's gonna move to that. I'm gonna fade out and shift this one. I'm gonna fade in primitives generation label. So I run this. I have this Q. Okay, the vertex shader. Ah, but Q is broken after I break the first time. I have this Q. Okay, the vertex shader. Ah, but Q is broken after I break the first time. Guess I will end up debugging. Because what I want this to do is pause. Then when I press Q, I want it to continue and go to the next one to show primitives generation. Just need to show this works. I'm gonna comment these interactive embeds. I think it actually worked when I quit from the keyboard, which is kind of weird. Also, why isn't this closing? Okay, so there's some buggy stuff with the PyGUI. So I can continue from here. I can't continue from here. This might get complicated, but I'm gonna go in. First, I'm gonna rerun this, make sure it's the same thing. Vertices appears, that's great. Vertex shader appears. Try to queue again. Nothing. So let's see what's going on there. So how is that queue being processed? Is the question to ask. I think that's being processed in scene down here. Queue. Self.quit interaction equals true. Okay, then an interactive embed. How is quit interaction used? Or in regular interact, since this is called from interactive embed. So quit interaction will go to false. Now, this is while not is closing, or self.quit interaction. Okay, so this is going to set self.quit interaction to true. Great. And so that should break out of this loop here. So why wouldn't that happen? While not this or this. While not this or this. So not this and not quit interaction. And quit interaction is getting set to true. So that should be updating it. Well, I guess I'll have to print. I'll say setting quit interaction equals true. Okay, so I'm gonna see if that even gets called. And this works from the keyboard thread, which is weird. I guess it just doesn't work from the screen. So try to do this again. Alright, so I have vertices. Q. And go to the vertex shader. Q. And I don't get the setting quit interaction equals true message. So this is never executed. Or it's only executed the first time, rather. Can I do any interaction? I can't drag either. So let me quit this. Although the interaction did appear after I continued again. Alright, so here I'm paused. Here I can interact. Let's restart that queue. Here's the second break. I can't interact, and I can't queue. I can quit from the keyboard thread, then the interaction happens at once. And I can interact again. So what's happening is then the interaction happens at once. And I can interact again. So what's happening is these callbacks aren't being attached to the new screen after the first pause. So why would that happen? Let's try to trace this back a little bit. On key press. This is called from the OpenGL renderer window. Here. This is where on key press is called. self.renderer.scene.onKeyPress. What's likely happening is that self.renderer.scene isn't being updated somehow. Because when I well, hold on. That scene shouldn't even be changing. Because the first time I quit, I'll break out of this loop. I do destroy the rent. Oh. If self.render.window.is closing. Which this should be false. So this shouldn't be destroyed. So it'll continue with the same callbacks, should be the same callbacks. I'm gonna add a print here. Just to make sure that window isn't being destroyed. Alright, so if I queue, yeah, that window's not being destroyed. Okay. So for what reason would these callbacks stop working? I'm going to see if this is called, this on key press. So I'm going to say called on key press. Let's say window dot on key press. Okay, so we have this here. Press Q. Press Q again. It isn't being called. Because the previous videos no longer appear. And then they all come back at once if I quit from the other thread. What's going on? It's blocking somewhere. Oh, this is going to be really annoying. Why would that be blocked? And only blocked the second time. I guess the good news is there's nothing with the IPython stuff, which is arguably more complicated. Previous videos no longer appear. Guess I'm not sure what you mean by that. Update objects and update meshes. I wonder if these are even being called. They probably are, just to make sure. Maybe I could add an updater to the vertices or something?